This is the life. Sunbathing. Just what the doctor ordered. But enough of that. Time to figure out why I just can never win nighttime hide and seek. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Recap Review. Today we're looking over set number 8916, Takadox. The set contains approximately 62 pieces, was released in early winter of 2007, and the time of release was about $6. Well, here we have him, the Mantis, as he was occasionally known as, one of the League of Six Kingdoms. Is that it? Six Kingdoms? I think that's it. One of the Barraki, Warlords of the Pit. This time, kicking us off is Takadox, of course. Now I'm going to preface this by saying that any opinion or con or pro or whatnot you hear in this review, keep in mind that unless I explicitly say so, I don't necessarily nor immediately agree with it or be it of my own. Just because something is here only means that it is either an objective opinion that I've heard over the years, or have observed owning this set. So, unless I explicitly say, don't assume it's my opinion. Try and keep this as objective as possible. It doesn't always work out. So, let's get started with the pros. Right off the bat, very excellent color scheme. It's very daring. By daring, I don't really mean it's covering new ground in the color scheme spectrum, but I mean it's vibrant. It's really nice to see. You have Metro Blue, as per standard. This is the blue villain. A little bit of black, some transparent blue, which is really nice to see. And this vibrant, I don't want to say translucent, but bioluminescent blue on his hips, back, and his head. Now, on the back here and the hips, this is a new piece, which is another pro. This set has several new pieces. Specifically this, the head, the pincers right here, the Squid Launcher, the Squid, and his knives. The knives are really cool. You'll see them probably a few times later on. They definitely look nice, and they help with that whole mantis approach. He's very hunched over, and he has these barbed pincers. Now, I've had praying mantis before. This definitely looks the part. So that's really great. But the main attraction here are these new bioluminescent pieces. These are really cool. Now, we've seen these before, but very shortly before. We saw these in the Hydruka, specifically the blue Hydruka. And they're really great. They do glow in the dark. In fact, we're going to go ahead and test that out right now. Wow, those actually do work really, really well. You can see here, it's very bright. It looks better in person than it does on camera. But it does show up very nicely. It's more of a greenish tinge as opposed to the blue that it looks like in the light. And it looks fantastic. It gives off this very, very spooky vibe, especially when you look right into the eyes. And it might be a bit difficult to see. A little closer. No, it's fading real quickly. It doesn't last a super long time to my knowledge. So we're going to get back to the light. So there we have it. Really great pieces. They look really nice. And they definitely work with the whole underwater vibe. It's really excellent. So moving on, we've got a few functions that a lot of people would definitely consider pros. Specifically two, aside from all the great points of articulation, which is another pro, by the way. Points of articulation are fairly standard, but they're really nice to see here. 3 in the legs, 3 in the arms, 1 in the head. I guess if you count this thing, it's another one. But the two functions are as follows. Function number 1 is these pincers here. And the pincers are standard for all the Barraki, and Takadox is no exception. You just push them inward. They go clink, 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 clink. It's really cool. It's not like groundbreaking or set changing or anything, but it's just a nice little function to see. The second one, and this is a little more controversial, is the Squid Launcher here. Now, Squid Launcher, sure, a lot of people would consider it to be a pro, considering it is a launcher, and some people do like the launchers. However, this launcher is made entirely out of a very malleable rubber. What you do here, take one of these sea squid. These are new. These are also a very malleable rubber, probably more so than the Squid Launcher. You take him, you put his eyes, lengthwise, like that. Put your finger through here, kind of like a trigger. You pull back on the squid, and you let it go. Now, this only works part of the time, but if you do it quick, you can get a lot of momentum really quickly. And it does work very well if you do it properly. However, it's very difficult to do properly. Now, on the plus side, it does hold the squid all right. So you can have a squid armed, ready to lock and load. You're all good to go. So that could be a pro. Another pro would be his construction. He is very unique. He doesn't stick to any of the standard Anico or Barraki builds. He has a very unique and custom build. Now, not the arms or the legs, but just the torso. We have some articulation here. He looks very spindly and he looks very menacing. That's really cool to see. Another pro would be the head mold and his knives. His knives are really cool. They definitely give off that mantis look, and they're just really cool looking knives. We're going to see this more in the future. But this head mold is really interesting. As you can see, it has that, I don't want to say mantis shape, but it has a very unique look to it. And it looks very underwatery. You definitely get a deep down below, one of the trenches kind of feel from it. And it looks great. We also have new eyepieces. I'm not sure if these were new in 2007, but they were definitely recent. So you're going to see these a lot more. They're used commonly today, actually. So that's really neat to see those. So overall, this set is actually very interesting. It has a very consistent color scheme, despite all these red pins. The red pins, they're accents. They say, stay away from me, I'm dangerous. Now in the story, I don't believe they serve any actual purpose, but I don't feel that they do clash so much, considering they are sticking out, and they're obviously meant to be this kind of warning to other underwater creatures. And that's great. So that could be considered a pro, depending on which side of the fence you're on. So right now, the set, it does well. It looks like a very menacing underwater creature, very imposing. And the glow-in-the-dark pieces are absolutely fantastic and a wonder to see, especially at night. Just when you're going to sleep, you look over, oh look, Takadox is staring me right in the face. So that's a little bit disconcerting, especially since in the story, Takadox has hypnotic vision. He can hypnotize people, as he does several times in the story. Actually, in the story, I do so believe that the glow-in-the-dark bits are actually a part of him as well. You can probably find him in his cave, just kind of glowing. So, it's kind of a neat little tidbit there. But yeah, so overall, this is a really cool looking set. But what are the cons? What makes this set a little bit less worth going back and getting? Right off the bat, the arms and legs are very simplistic. Now, this is going to be a standard from now on. You're not going to find the complexity in the arms that you would in a Titan. It's going to be a fairly three-piece click system. The hand, the forearm, and the upper arm. Now, occasionally you're going to have some complexity. You're going to have, like, armor on the lower legs, like here. You find them on the upper arm, but don't expect much more. So a lot of people would consider this a very basic build. As such, the entirety of the build may seem very basic. Without the Barraki build or the Anico build, it doesn't look as imposing or broad or, robotic. But it's actually just one stick with a bunch of add-ons. So that could be a con. A lot of people could see it as that. This also flaps around. And the red pieces. Now, some people would believe that these red pieces do stick out. And instead of being accents, especially accents to the eyes, they're just very similar to the red pins. They just are obnoxiously there breaking up the color scheme. Which I can see as being a con, definitely. And the biggest con of this set, aside from, what have you, the basic build, the stick figure look, maybe even the open axles back here. The biggest con from this set, and majority of the Barraki, or any set that has it, is the Squid Launcher. It's incredibly difficult to use. It's made of rubber. It has a very unusual look, so its uses are actually very limited. The squid are alright, but they're bright orange. They don't really mesh with anything. And before you say in the comments, I know there are these in blue, So if you do get one of those squid packs, you already have these in blue, so that's not an issue. However, right out of the box, these are orange. Now the set has red, but no other orange or yellow components. So a lot of people would believe that that clashes specifically with the set. So the squid are also rubber. They don't have a whole lot of detail because of this, like they do in other media. And the Squid Launcher is incredibly difficult to use. It's difficult to get the hang of. It's very awkward and rubbery, very prone to breaking over time, especially the squid and their tail, because you need to pull back on that. So it's very disappointing to see such a good set so far ruined by such a really unorthodox launcher. I guess I shouldn't say ruined. The set actually does hold up pretty well, which is really great to see. So, that actually pretty much covers all the cons. They don't outweigh the pros. The set does hold up very well. Some people may not like his menacing look. They may not like the pincers or the red spikes here or there. And nobody likes that stinking squid launcher. But Takadox overall does do a very good job of getting across that underwater, bioluminescent, deep, dark down water mantis look. He does look very threatening and a very good villain for the year of 2007. The new molds are also very versatile and nice to see. So, a lot of people are very happy to see that Takadox is, well, a mantis, because that look is pulled off very well. What do you guys think? Is Takadox your favorite Barraki? And what do you think of these new bioluminescent pieces and the knives? Let me know either in the comments below or on the TTV message boards. Thank you all very much for watching, and if there's anything you feel I missed up on, or left out on accident, or on purpose, please let me know in the two aforementioned places. Join me next week when I go over the Squid Wrangler himself, Kalma. Thank you all for watching, and see you then.